Welcome back to the 2023 Champions Cup. This is at the International Disc Golf Center at Wildwood Park near Augusta, Georgia. And this is the MPO Chase Card, round 3, back 9. I'm Andrew Fish, joined here by Nathan Queen.
And happy to be here with you at the first major of the year. It's been an exciting ride so far through the first 2.5 rounds. We are on the way through the back 9 of moving day. A 4-round event with no cut line on this one, so everybody has an opportunity to play again on the final day.
Yeah, in theory, still in contention for the win, I guess. We see Eagle McMahon off to a hot start in that front 9, and that puts him into the top 3. Isaac Robinson and Niklas Antila doing very well for themselves, and a bunch of contenders from some deeper cards out there. Hole 10, 606 feet, par 4. This is going to be a right turning shot, forehand and backhand both in play off the tee. You could bite off quite a bit on this to shorten the second shot, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of our players do that. But playing more station to station with a mid-range or putter, still viable. Forward going to throw a Mustang, backhand mid-range.
I think that mid-range is a really good way to keep you from going off too far to the right, which you can do, overturn it a bit too much, getting aggressive.
Yeah, I think a lot of this middle section of the course is about giving yourself opportunities. You don't want to have to scramble from jail. It's better to be short in the fairway with a mid. Barela seems to think so also, and with his power, that still has a lot of distance potential, hugging the right side of the fairway.
Yeah, it looks like it should end up in a nice spot.
Simon Lizotte playing that backhand, and I wanted to see where that was going. Does find some high stuff. You see the frustration from Simon.
Yeah.
A little bit of disbelief.
Bit disappointed in that one. It looked like it was going to be, it definitely had some more speed on it. Just a bit too high though. Eagle looks like he might be giving this one a good rip.
Yeah, still a fairway driver. But at speed, diving to the right. Look at that go.
Wow. He missed those 3 trees in the middle and just kept moving.
Simon from the right side. This is pretty far back, about 350, 370. Floating to the right. Looks like it's going to fade out early, though.
Yeah, not too early. Should have gotten enough distance. Shouldn't be too bad to get up and down from there.
Barela, standstill Raptor from the right side. Just forcing it over, letting the stability of the disc carry it back. That gets him near circle 1, circle 2, somewhere in that vicinity.
Yeah, surprised to see him over on the right side. I thought he ended up a bit more in the middle than that off of the tee shot, but works well with what he had. Mason Ford throws a nice shot, looking to have that stand up just a little bit more, but gets some nice tree love at the end. He's going to be inside circle 1.
Here you see how Eagle's big drive makes the second shot very, very attackable. Actually scoots long. This is one of the faster greens also on the course.
Yeah, not many roots or anything around this one, just lots of pine straw. Slides very quickly.
Lizotte, obstructed look. Just going to play floaty hyzer and comes up short. He will settle for par putt. And kind of the theme from the front 9 continuing for Anthony Barela. He might look back and say, man, I had a chance at every single hole out there, but has not yet capitalized.
Mason Ford beginning to capitalize as he's now 3 down through the last 4 holes to put him 3 down on the round. Eagle looking to take another birdie here. Or excuse me. Oh yeah, that is a birdie. Because of his huge drive. That's right.
Yeah, I don't really see myself getting to that point, so what he threw looks like an upshot off of a badly played hole for me. Couple birdies, couple pars.
Yeah, brings us into hole 11, 420-foot par 3. Want to push the left side of this fairway with a backhand turnover shot, drift, and hopefully get past this tree. And that's pretty much it. If you can get it out wide enough, then watch it drift.
Yeah, this hole has the suggestion of shape to it, but there's so much open space that you're just throwing it into the sky, and even when it's overturned like Mason Ford has.
Oh my goodness. So
it has the stability to carry that.
There was somebody I played with my first card that intends to throw the line that Mason just did. I agree with you that looked overturned. But he said that he's thrown it that way throughout all week and during his practice rounds. And as long as you get past that first one, it ends up well.
Okay.
It worked out for Mason, so I guess it could be true.
All right, well, something for us to take back to our own research and development departments. Eagle with a new look from his R&D throws a roller and reasonably successful with it. Barela taking to the heavens. This is more the traditional late turning shape, I think.
Yeah, pushing the right side of that fairway and just kept turning right the entire way. So he's going to, again, end up in that spot he's been not quite the happiest with so far today.
And Lizotte, this is turned early, and boy, howdy, he is kicking hard into the woods. These are thick. Going to have to go probably a pretty high route.
Sweet.
I feel like you can see the pacing of Simon's game accelerating. Barela was barely off the tee pad before Simon was lining up. Maybe some of the frustration from hole 10's tee shot carrying over.
An AP from about 40 feet. All right, able to connect on this one.
Yeah, great knockdown. See it from a different angle.
Yeah, it's pretty much center on it. Chains go ahead and hang on to it also. It's going to move him to 3 under par now through the first 11 holes.
Eagle from edge of circle. And throws it about 28 feet. Forward. Get hot. Stay hot.
Gobble, gobble.
And you see Simon's frustration with the spectators. The hole's not over, folks. Let's let him finish out. Good focus, though.
Yeah, still able to connect on it. That is unfortunate growing pain, I would say.
Yeah, and I heard from Nate Heinold, the tournament director, that they've been sold out of VIP tickets here for weeks. Only about 1,000 spectators, but that's more a function of parking capacity than anything. Hole 12, 990 feet, our only par 5 on the day. Everyone's going to use that right side on the tee shot and potentially try to access the basket on the direct left route of the second shot for an eagle play, as we saw Eagle get in round 2. More conservatively, you can kind of chip around the right side and get yourself in position for a birdie. Mason Ford throwing a flip up. This is going to be drifting to the left. Hard to say what he's going to get in that spot unless he runs all the way to the other side, which will open up a clean hyzer to the right side of the second fairway.
Yeah, not sure if he could see that off the tee, but he'll be happy once he does know where that's at.
Barela, this is kind of tracking toward the cluster of trees in the center. Runs all the way to the left side as well. There was a tailwind on this hole for most of the day, so perhaps some late stability coming in.
We know Eagle's been liking the understable disc this week. So really going to use that tailwind here and try to let one ride.
And the collective "oh" from the crowd, reflective of that result. Simon carrying 2 straight. This will need to finish. And does. That's in a great spot.
Yeah, that nice little touch. He should be looking down that right side as well. Could possibly get aggressive down the left side.
Feels like that's more viable this year than last year. A little bit of extra clearing, both to accommodate spectators, but just to mean that if you're off the fairway, you still have something to work with. Ford, as I noted, going to play a hyzer. Catches some branches, but that taps down around 250 or so. He will have a hyzer in. Anthony Barela, he's too tall for this lie.
Looking to still get a lot of speed on this shot and just squares up that tree. Luckily, it does bounce out to the right side. That should give him somewhat of an angle to still approach the basket. Oh, and Simon did try to get that aggressive inside left line and did not quite work out for him.
Into a forehand roller on his third.
Eagle using every part of this fairway so far. Bouncing to the left and the right of the second part.
We'll see Barela and Mason Ford throwing their third down this right side. It's pretty well done by Anthony. He'll be caught up near circle one's edge.
Still seems to be a theme for him today.
Yeah. And the rare misfire from Mason Ford. He's usually pretty money inside of 300 feet.
Yeah, pretty strange to see that overstable of a disc come out. And Simon is just still a bit on the struggle bus after that second shot didn't work out for him. He is, you mentioned pace of play earlier, and it may have picked up even more now.
Yeah.
As I believe that was his 5th shot.
That's my count as well. Runs outside of circle one. Maybe starting to unravel a little bit for Simon Lizotte. Still has a decent round going if he can scramble to save his 6.
Oh boy.
Yeah, glide straight by.
And Mason looking straight up in the air from almost inside the circle there. It's not something you're going to see too often. And not much of an ounce of try in that putt right there.
No, I don't think so.
But Anthony Barela has back-to-back birdies now. He's moved to 4 down on the round.
Yeah, good for him. Much more attackable putt for himself on 12 here.
Shout out. MVP. Glad to be on the team. It's a whole new project and grip equipment. Like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and check out Beyond Disc Golf on Joe Pro.
Hole 13, 399-foot par 3. Another shot that you really want to be pushing forward on a hyzer for quite a bit before you actually get done with the hyzer. You're going to see some forehands here. Righty backhand does come into play, but much more difficult to execute as it is such a late turn to the right.
Although I will say, headwind today means that late turning backhand has a little bit more play to it. Mason Ford has done that the first couple rounds, and we're going to see it once more. See him align his steps with his hand, and late drift. This is hugging the left side, but into circle 2.
Yeah, still executed pretty well.
Eagle trying to limit his forehands in power.
And this looks
But
fantastic.
still, oh no! What a stop!
Ouch!
Wow.
That was gonna skip to possibly the chains. It looked like it had some good speed on it still, and just caught a root and dead stopped. Simon very quickly throwing a shot. Looked to be executed fairly well.
Yeah, to my eye, Barela airmailing the basket. That's a pretty speculative run from as far back as he was onto a perched basket.
Yeah, right on line. Just needed it to be perched a bit higher.
And Mason Ford stalls his putt into the chains.
Slow start no more. He has turned that slow start around.
And might not have seen the basket hardly at all. Just kind of picked a spot in the air and let it fade.
Yeah, picked the right spot. Eagle McMahon looking to follow up. And just a little bit low left.
Seems like a couple guys on this card starting to talk to themselves a little bit. Eagle, seeing his good buddy Simon struggling, needs to turn the focus on. You can't be empathetic for your competitors and your friends. You gotta play your own game.
And the most frustrated birdie I believe we've seen from Simon before. But nonetheless does card a birdie and gets back under par.
Barela takes the bogey. Eagle with the par. Hole 14. An initial gap shot that needs to push straight for about 200 feet or so, and then can start to fade to the left. You can be more aggressive with a distance driver in order to access the left side of the fairway, and then it'll be a left-to-right moving shot into a flat green. Getting off this tee is very key, because the green is so difficult to access if you get behind on your shots. Ford throws a good one, but that's going to be on the right side of the fairway. Makes it pretty challenging to... And Simon once again playing quick. Being on this right side means that your angle of attack is much more severe in to the green.
Yeah, Simon throws a good shot also. A little bit more to the left. But didn't really get a skip. If you can get a skip off to the left, that's what's really going to open up your angle.
Eagle trying to play the hyzer flip in. That taps down to the left side of the fairway. He's going to have to scramble for par. Likely a big backhand followed by something moving into the green left to right.
Quick jump back to hole 12. Ilkin Grow able to get the eagle. Can't miss the eagle shout-outs.
Yeah, for sure. The only one on the day, right?
On hole 12, yes.
Okay. I will... With that cryptic answer, I'll let the suspense build, I guess. Eagle has to throw stand up around the corner, but pushes a little bit too far right, gets tagged down by some branches, leaving him to throw his third before everybody else gets to their second. That's not how you want to play this hole.
No, not making the gap is almost impossible to save your par, I feel like, on this hole.
Yeah, and he's back in the 340, 350 range.
This looks good. He's made it up and around the corner. 4 feet away.
That is so huge. Because to this point, Eagle hasn't converted some of the bonus chances he's gotten from, circle 2 or late circle 1. Making that drop in par easy now is a big deal.
Yeah, incredible scramble. You see, he's on a bit of a par streak, but this is a par that he'll be happy to have.
Forward with a great shape, but doesn't push it right enough. He will be long left of the basket in a circle 2 look.
Yeah, and you saw Simon also not push his to the right enough. Ended up catching some of those trees. He'll be more in a upshot mode.
And Barela
There's
able
that.
to go zone from about 270 or so.
Yeah, there's
what a
that
luxury.
inside line too. Much tighter. Yeah, who can throw a zone 270 anyway? Like,
Yeah, he was close enough that that inside line became viable. Everyone else used an outside path. Lizotte coming back for his 4. And in there.
yeah, good score on this hole. Third hardest hole of the day. Did average over par, 4.09.
And we've seen in the previous couple days that the last 4 or 5 holes have been basically averaging above par, right?
Yeah, I believe 4 of the last 5 holes are the top 4 hardest holes on the course.
Certainly a layout that tournament directors and officials think will provide some drama down the stretch. I like to hope so.
Yeah, so from the 3rd hardest hole to the 4th hardest hole, hole 15, 714-foot par 4. If you can get over this ditch, it's kind of the main goal of your first shot. Then you do have a fairway that leads to the basket, but it's kind of some funny angles depending on where you land at. You've got a little creek that runs down behind it, not OB, but a good catch point, or if you end up too far right in that creek, you can end up kind of at the top of the hill on the other side.
Anthony Barela playing into a headwind. Maybe thought the disc was going to be pulled over a little bit more. Instead, he flexes out into 16's fairway. Counts as a fairway hit in my book, but maybe not on UDisc.
Yeah, and be interesting to see if he's able to take 16's fairway to the pin, as it does lead towards it.
Mason Ford playing the more traditional route, drifts to the right, hits this gap perfectly, and is going to climb the hill a ways.
Yeah, beautiful shot.
And Simon Lizotte, this also doesn't have the drift on it. It was kind of just nose up to begin with. And he too will tap down near 16.
Eagle a bit lower, more of a line drive shot. Looked like it may have been turned over a bit too early.
And Simon does try to take that hole 16 fairway, but unable to make it back. This time throws into 15, but lying 3, the frustration kind of continuing. Barela takes a Malta and from a weird stance pushes it through a gap.
What an incredible shot there also. You know he hasn't practiced anything from any area over there at all.
Oh goodness, no. That's entirely ad-libbed.
And he's able to get it to about the same spot he's been able to get it for the majority of this round. He's going to end up just outside of circle 1, I think.
Yeah, he's had a lot of practice. Eagle skitters down towards near circle 1 edge.
Oh, and what a touchy shot there from Mason. Had a little small tree right in his way. Able to traverse without hitting his hand. Leaves it just a bit short. Gonna have a long birdie look.
Simon Lizotte's fourth to the bullseye. And this is Barela for birdie. Very ambitious birdie attempt. And that runs long.
Yeah, he's traditionally been catching some type of metal so far. And he'll miss his low right on that one with the downhill nature. Mason Ford keeping the birdies rolling.
Yeah, don't look now. He's tied for fifth. 6 down on the round. And McMahon, again, can't quite convert.
Yeah, just on a bit of a par stretch still.
Yeah, he's a par guy. Barela, good catch on his comeback for 4.
I want to thank all my sponsors, Discraft, Grip Equipment, Resistance Discs, and Pastry Dyes. We're going to do a restock of the jerseys soon, hopefully within the next week or so. And then that's going to be on teamdiscraft.com. And then Tour Series discs drop on April 21st, so look out for those.
PDGA reinvests membership funding into support for programs like the Competition Endowment, Youth and Education Program, and Marco Polo Program, all of which help grow the sport in communities around the world. Get started today. Visit pdga.com/join.
Hole 16, a brief respite from hard holes as we see 297 feet, a gentle left to right shape, although the basket is surrounded on 3 sides by a pretty severe downslope with out of bounds to the right of the entire hole. Going to see mid-ranges, putters. Mason Ford going to go a little bit of understable mid-range. Throws it at the trees in the middle, lets it glide right.
Oh, and ends up catching a late stump. It was a little bit too right, but still going to have a look at the basket. Just a little bit scary, as you noted. Does drop off behind it.
Barela going to go putter with a little force over. You noted the flags left to right wind, so that's kind of pushing this disc more to the right, but does check up.
It's this hole feels strange when you're in this stretch of difficult holes. 3-4 right before this, then you jump to the easiest hole on the course today before you play the hardest 2. So it messes with your mindset if you don't get this hole. They throw that easy par 3 in right there when you're in the midst of trying to battle for some pars possibly.
Yeah, pretty neat sequencing. You see a variety of stabilities being broken out here. Simon with kind of the straight shot. Eagle with a very big force over, both successful. And Ford for his birdie. 40 feet, no problem.
Yeah, 40 feet. Drop off with OB behind it. And just hanging on. Nice little pose there at the end. That's going to put him to 7 down on the round. Now in a tie for 4th.
And Barela. Looked like a confident stroke there. And McMahon and Lizotte. Looks like everybody on this card is going to get a 2.
It does indeed. Simon tapping in for the diamonds.
You can shout about semantic choices, but everybody gets the 2 nonetheless.
Into hole 17, 588-foot par 4. You want to push as far as you can up to close to the top of this hill so that you can have your best shot at a straight look. Very difficult to be able to see the basket for your second shot.
Yeah, stacked series of gaps here means you need to be committed the entire way. Mason Ford is.
That's the one.
Runs it up near the top of the hill. We'll be looking at a putter turnover. Anthony Barela's thrown this disc pretty well all day. This one drifting. And an improvement on what Mason had done.
That's the better one.
We've seen Eagle be a little errant on his tee shots in the first 2 rounds.
Oh my goodness. Are you that?
He can see the basket.
I
The spotter told me that was the best drive he'd seen all day, and Eagle turned around and mouthed, "Wow," on the tee pad. Takes a lot to impress Eagle McMahon, I think, and he did it.
Yeah, I still don't I don't have any words for that one. That was when I said you don't often see people see the basket. I was just trying to sound a little nice. I don't think anybody's ever seen the basket before. That is an incredible shot from Eagle.
Absolutely. Lizotte with a good recovery, pretty similar to what he had done in round one. And Mason Ford scooches long to about 25 or so.
Yeah, looks to be continuing his birdie streak. Gonna have an opportunity at least.
This is kind of a rocky, rooty green. So you often will get that scoot on the downhill, but you can't count on it. Good speed control to throw exactly the distance, a little bit left by Anthony Barela. And McMahon has to throw this so soft.
Yeah, it's just silly. It's very silly where his drive landed at. Now that his drive has not gone in, I can let you guys know. Here we have reached our second eagle of the day.
Okay.
If you can even imagine that. Hole 17, Alden Harris able to throw it in. Not able to see the basket from where he was
No,
at.
I'm told
able
a
to throw
big-
it in for a 2.
A big flex forehand from the wood, so nicely done, Alden.
Yeah, very nice eagle.
Mason Ford continuing a very strong round, gets to 8 down overall with another birdie, and McMahon to do the same. I guess he gets to 7, but tied at 25 under for the tournament.
Yeah, and back-to-back birdies for Eagle after a long stretch of pars, 4 or 5, maybe 6 holes.
Mm-hmm. Anthony Barela for the third birdie on the card.
Yes.
You told us this was a hard hole, the second hardest.
Oh, wow. Well, I guess this card specifically made this one play much easier today. It was the 7th most difficult.
They're the ones skewing the statistics.
And that throw-in.
Yeah, okay, that's it. It's a hard hole, I promise. Hole 18, another hard hole, 734 feet. Likely to see players take the left side of the fairway to try to run up the hill, and then the basket out in an open field. We haven't seen much of that. Bounded by out of bounds on all sides. Very difficult to put yourself in position where you have good enough footing and a good enough line to access on your second. Mason Ford no longer going distance driver as he had done in rounds 1 and 2. This time, discs down to a fairway, puts himself in the fairway. Well executed.
Yeah, great spot to be. Going to have a good amount of distance to cover for the second shot, but in one of the better positions you can be in.
I believe this is a Venom from Barela. So he is going distance driver. Kind of forces it over a little bit, holds the fairway the entire time, and has the stability to get back to the middle. That's far, Nathan.
That's very far. That's going to be... That's the way that you really get a birdie on this one. He's far enough up there. He's going to be throwing that zone, I bet. He's been throwing that zone a lot.
Potentially. Well inside the 300 marker, and that means his drive touching 450 on a pretty specific line. McMahon had birdied this in round 2. And once again pulls it over.
Sometimes it pays to miss big.
Yeah, this time nobody kicks it back into the fairway. And Lizotte, this is on the left side. Does stay safe, but not in a great spot.
Yeah, the left is very scatter plotty, and Simon just didn't I'm not sure what that was. That was a pitch out that he didn't think about getting into a good spot.
Yeah, whoever is impersonating Simon Lizotte, please give him back. We want him back.
Please.
Mason Ford, going fairway driver, runs it up the right side. And is safe near circle 2. Probably not a look you really want to be messing with on kind of an exposed green.
Yeah, but just showing you how much distance you really need to get to be able to have a viable chance at birdie here, as he threw a great tee shot, but he didn't throw that distance driver to try to get that 450 off of the tee.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you noted, a putter. This is going to be a Luna for Barela. Rips into it. And I wonder where that would have gone without the tree tickle. That was at 45 feet or so, still flying 25 feet high.
Yeah, before the tree tickle, I was going to say this needs to slow down. Because, like you said, he ripped into that. But he's going to be inside circle 1. Simon able to scramble well from where he was at.
And Eagle's second shot, a little errant, leads to putter approach. Well done, just outside bullseye. Looks like he will card the 4. And Mason Ford heading toward a sterling 8-down round. He's gone 8, 9, 8 thus far. And will actually jump up to the lead card for the final round.
Yeah, and Anthony Barela finishing with a turkey on the round after quite a bit of struggles, it seemed like. He was all over the basket from circle 2 area, just not quite getting close enough to connect. But finishes strong, 7 down on the round.
And getting some of the hardest holes on the course in that closeout.
Indeed. And Eagle McMahon looking to get his par here. Also going to finish the round at 7 down.
25 under for the tournament, but because of Ford's hotter round, Eagle is going to stay with us. Gatekeeper Media's chase card for the 4th and final round of the Champions Cup.
Yeah, for all 4 rounds.
And as we see now, a couple tied for 4ths. Anthony Barela hanging around in that top 10, and Simon Lizotte kind of free falls in that back 9. But one more round to go. We'll see what he can do. Isaac Robinson making a mockery of this course.
Man on a mission. 11 down, 12 under, has a 7-stroke lead over second place, but chase card only 2 strokes off of second, so big chances to make a push tomorrow for the 4th and final round of the first major of the year out here at W.R. Jackson. For Andrew Fish, I'm Nathan Queen. We'll see you guys out there.